Hello everybody, today's video is a special message to the control freak inside of all of us. Hello everyone, control. It's something that we work so hard to get, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in a job, even whether it's in the weather. We want to be able to control it, whether it's going to be a sunny day on a weekend so we can go to the beach. Control is a major mechanism of the human mind, however it leads to a lot of suffering and pain. So today we want to discuss being a control freak, ways that we can actually control certain things and understand things we can't control. So as always, I'm going to begin with a quote on the subject, and that quote is, "Lord, grant me the strength to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference." What a fabulous quote. Understanding the difference between the things you can change and can't change is what makes a person a fully developed human. As a man or as a woman, core part of your soul is knowing that there are things you can change and can't change. And whilst that seems very simple, we let go, we become unconscious, and we get involved in politics, we become passionately heated about subjects that don't really concern us, only to the detriment of our friends and our relationships. We fight on imaginary battlegrounds that don't really affect us in any way. So my personal story is that as I sort of went through my career and my relationships, I started to realise this very disturbing fact about life, is that when I would visualise things or I would try and control things, no matter how much I visualise or control, they never quite worked out the way that I thought they would. And a classic example would be in business. Quite often in business I would lay out a store, and that store would have sort of, gondolas and shelving and racks and cash registers, and I would lay it out all perfectly, but then when we finally finished it, it was done, but it wasn't quite right. There's some elements there that was missing, and I started to learn as I became more mature that that was simply the trick of the mind. The mind is designed to be dissatisfied. In fact, why we left Africa, our ancient forebears left Africa, is because the human ability to be dissatisfied with being in Africa, dissatisfied with being in the Caucasus Mountains, dissatisfied with being in the Iberian Peninsula and moving, and that's how humans colonized the world. So there is good things about being dissatisfied, but you need to be aware of it and control it, because it will destroy you in the end. Because ultimately, this is a finite game, and if you live your life dissatisfied, you'll never ever get to experience the juice of life. So with that in mind, I'm going to put up a graph today called the circle of concern versus the circle of control. So many people I know, so many people close to me right now are just getting so wound up and so stressed and bringing so much extra stress in their life, dealing with situations they can't control. Right now, as we speak, the presidential elections in America are happening, and so many people are so vehemently strong on one side or another, and these people don't even live in America, yet they are as passionate, as angry, and as upset as people who are voting in the caucuses right now. So let's look at this in this graph form and understand really where this is at and how we can sort of understand this better. So number one, your circle of concern. Now, it's okay to have some concern for things. That's absolutely fine. Now, the things that a lot of people concern themselves with are things like the sex lives of celebrities and politicians, the economy, what other people think of you, the weather, wars, weapons, terrorists, natural disasters, political views of others, and the news. Those things are areas of concern. Now, those outside areas in the grey area are things that aren't really important. They're only important when you give them your headspace. Now, yes, of course, the economy is important, but unless you're the chief economist or the treasurer of a country, sitting down and worrying and thinking about it for hours and hours and hours really won't serve the economy any purpose, and that's dead mental space. Now, understanding that is really important, because whilst you may think from time to time the economy, a system of monetary influences, that's okay, but then to get really passionate and stressed and angry about something within the economy really doesn't serve you. The areas of concern that are important are things like where you live, where you work, what you read, and what you buy. Those are the things that are your concerns that you could really delve into. Now, reactive people deal in the world of concern. They act like control and concern are the same thing. So they get into a subject, and we'll use politics as an example, and they believe they can somehow control politics. For example, they may really want to get into an argument with someone who is pro-conservative in order to show them that being a liberal is better. So they will invest their energies in trying to control that person to get them to believe the way that they think. Now that ends in a lot of suffering for everyone. The second part of the circle of this graph is control. What you actually can control, what you should be putting your intention and attention to. Things like enthusiasm, businesses you want to start, what you read, skills you want to learn, articles, leadership positions you hold, places you want to travel. These are the things you should put your mental energy. Now, how can we understand this better? I want to break down some points, and my first point is simple. It's a Zen proverb, one of my many favorite Zen proverbs, and it's no snowflake falls in the wrong place. No snowflake falls in the wrong place. What does that mean? What that means is that reality and its rich, multi-textured 3D sight, sound, smell, beauty, anguish, suffering, it's all perfect. It could not be any other way, and everything will happen the way it has to happen, whether you want it to or not. Number two, the only two things you can control are your intention and your attention. This is really key to understand. Intention and attention, what are they? Well, your intention is what you want to happen. It's your soul. For example, your intention may be, I hope that my friend with alcoholism, I hope that I could help them recover. That's your intention. Now, your attention is how you focus your intention. So your attention might be put on them. You might want to sit down with them and talk to them hours and look them in the soul and really get to know their problems. That's intention and attention. And when used in combination properly, can make massive change. Number three, I like this saying, don't teach pigs how to sing, it won't work and annoys the hell out of pigs. I think I saw this in a cartoon once, and it's true. People spend so much time in their life trying to go up to a neo-Nazi and explain to them how the Holocaust was terrible and how all people were created equal. Save your time. That person through an experiential level needs to learn those lessons. We're not going to change them. It's going to make them angry and it's going to frustrate you. Really focus on yourself. Additional stress affecting our health from celebrity feuds, gossip and more. Right now as I speak, there's a feud between two celebrities and Twitter and everyone's on different sides. Okay, what I'm hearing is that people don't have enough stress in their life. They have to get involved in insignificant feuds between people with millions of dollars who don't really care anyway because they'll let their butler deal with it or their security team deal with it, yet we're getting really angry and taking sides. Something that we need to ask ourselves from time to time. Yes, it's juicy, yes, it's cool. Are you team Kanye, are you team Taylor Swift, whatever? Yes, that's fun and cool, but do you need the extra stress? Do you need to take that on board? And if you let it go, could you maybe have time to read an extra book or really interact with someone you love? Go on an adventure, travel, who knows? The more you grab at the water, the more you drown. Control is drowning. I know, I meet people who are control freaks and they're drowning. You can see they're drowning. Like Alan once said, if you want to swim, you have to float. But the minute you start grasping at the water, you sink. It's really important to know that you need to let things happen and unfold. Don't use your monkey mind, organic brain perspective. Use an overall perspective. Faith equals peace and happiness. There's a level of faith you need to live. When you get in your car, you have to have faith that people aren't just going to start driving on the wrong side of the road and kill you. That level of faith makes it safe enough for automobile travel, which is great. You can go on road trips, get to work. It makes life very, very convenient. But how do you do it? Through faith. Taking total levels of faith. Faith that the universe has a plan. Faith that this fact that it took 14 billion years to get this stuff to where it is right now, that things are working okay. You'll be okay. It's important to know. In fact, you don't even have control of your own body. People who think they control freaks and like, Brad, no, I can control situations, I've got everything under control. You don't even control your digestion. You don't even make your heart beat 10 times faster right now. You can't do it. You can't even control your heart. And you're telling me that you're in control. There is a Tao, there is a way, there is a unconscious patterning of things happening within you that are way beyond control, but they're working fine. And if you can't even control your heart, and yet you're alive, maybe it would be okay if you don't control someone else's beliefs. Maybe it'll also work out okay. Put all your mental energy into attention based on your intention. So once you've worked out what your intention is, and let's say your intention is that you just want to get fitter. That's fine. That's an intention, but the what is it? What do they say? The path to hell is paved with good intentions, because a lot of people don't apply attention. So the intention to get fitter has to be applied with the attention of going to the gym, or the attention on the exercise you're doing now, or even just being attentive to how your body feels and how you'd like it to change. Politics, racism, and your friends won't change before you do. Don't expect your friends to change, and it's easy to be a Chardonnay socialist, or to talk about these things and talking convoluted ways about the macroeconomic climates, the IMF, and how they loan to countries in order to bankrupt them, in order to get military favours for their largest sponsors. Like, we can go on and on and on about this stuff, but the reality is that, how about you? Are you better? Are you getting better as a person? Are you acting like a person who has ways of helping and means of helping? Because until then, you're wasting your mental energy. Take the pressure off. You only need to control this moment, not your mental time travel. This is where people, once again, life's a lot easier than we make it. So all you need to control is this, watching this video right now. Just control it, just be here. Don't try and control these events where you go, well, tomorrow I actually have a big plan, meeting, and if I do that, you're trying to control a situation that isn't even here now. And the opportunity to control that situation, which is maybe some planning, some genuine planning, has left, because you're over living in fantasy land, doing the things that you need to do now, which you can't control. Stay here, plan now, be here now. And finally, the die has been cast, crossing the Rubicon. My homeboy, Julius Caesar, was on campaign, and normally what happens is when a Caesar dies or is overthrown, all the generals want to be Caesar. And Caesar had a choice of crossing a river, which was a boundary sort of to Italy and Rome. And the great quote by, I think, Cassius Dio, which is the die has been cast, is that the dice has been thrown. Every time you make a decision, dice are being thrown in the air, and you shouldn't stress about what number the dice will lie on. Just know the dice has been thrown, and that's all you can control. When people are stressing out and talking to me about how tough their work life is, I quite often tell them, just focus on your procedure, what you're doing. Don't let the results bother you, just do what you're doing. The die has been cast. You've taken this job, you've thrown the dice into the air, now just know that that was a good enough, strong enough reason for you to move forward. Don't worry too much about the result. Trying to control everything creates pain and suffering in your life. Letting go creates love, happiness, and peace. I know which one I would choose. It's definitely something to think about, and I can't wait to see you till tomorrow. Until then, goodbye.